Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, Vocab Malone does not seem to understand that the spirit of a man is what determines what nation he's from. Okay? And the Heavenly Father made particular separations in the spirits, right, when he was creating these nations. Otherwise, we would all be from the same nation because we all came from Noah, right? So let's go to, first and foremost, let's start with this. Let's start with Numbers, the first chapter. Let's start with Numbers 1. This is Numbers 1, right? And we know that a man's nationality is determined by the father. This is what it says biblically, all throughout the Bible. That's easy to see. You say anything else, you do not understand the Bible at all. You are just on a very low level when it comes to understanding. Okay, because it's clear to see that it goes through the father. That's why whenever they mention lineages, they always go through the fathers. It never goes through the mothers, because the mother does not determine the nation of an individual, right? So let's go to Numbers 1 in verse 18, but there's another one at verse above there, but let's go to 18, okay? And it says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees, which means lineages, okay, after their families by the house of their fathers. Right, so they decreed what lineage they come from through the house by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names of the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So this is how you determine what nation these men came from, was through what their fathers. As Yahweh commanded Moses, so he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai, and the children of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations, right? Israel's eldest son, not eldest daughter. There's no tribe of Dana. Why? Because, Jacob had one daughter named Dana. There's no tribe of Dana because women don't carry seed. So there's no tribe, there's no lineage that she's going to push forth. The progenitor is the father. Simple and plain. Okay, so the spirit of the Reubenites come from a man named Reuben. Okay, Reubenites have their characteristics, right? It says, and the children, which that word there is really sons, of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names by their polls, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. So that was it, right? So they numbered, you determine what tribe you're from through your father. Now, when we deal with Jacob and Esau, right, there was a clear separation that was made. Okay, I don't know. Vocab is supposed to be some high-studied individual in the scriptures, and he doesn't understand something simple like this, showing you that the Lord is not dealing with you going to these schools. That's not how the disciples became wise. That's not how the Holy Spirit entered into disciples. The Holy Spirit entered into people that were deemed to be unlearned. You're not going to go to a college, you get a college education, and all of a sudden you understand the Bible. It doesn't work that way. This is Genesis 25 and verse. I'll start at verse 21. It says, and Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Let's look up this word nations. You see, so they came from the same individual, right? The father does determine the nation of an individual, right? But the Lord intervened. The Lord could intervene, and there's exceptions to everything. There's always exceptions. When you go through the scriptures, there's all kind of exceptions. The Lord can do that, okay? Because this was the time that the Lord was creating the nations, man. Okay, but ultimately, what determines a nation is the spirit. Okay. Now, it says two. It says two. This is the number 2, right? Shanayim, and then you got here goy for nation, right? It says goy meaning what? Nation, people, usually of non-Hebrew people, but in this case, they were Hebrews. All right, because Esau is also a Hebrew because he descends from Abraham, right? So he's also a Hebrew. Ishmael is also a Hebrew, right? And of course, we as Israelites, we are Hebrews. It says usually a non-Hebrew people of descendants of Abraham, of Israel, of swarm of locusts, of other animals, so on and so forth. It means nations, okay? Nation. Right? So there was 2 nations, okay? 2 different nations, 2 different races of people, okay? And the word race goes back to the word raza. Matter of fact, let's look that up to verify that, okay? Race. Etymology. Excuse me. Let's come here. We don't just say things, we want to verify these things as well. It says a narrative, an account, an act, swift running, a hurried attack. That's not the one we're looking for. Race, rushing. It's not the one we're looking for. Speed. No. That's what we're talking about. Race number 2. Okay, let's see what this is. Descendants, right. Common ancestry, people descending from a common ancestry, right? Now, the common ancestry in our case is Jacob, right? In the Edomites' case is Esau, all right? Well, just connection with Latin radix, which means root, right? Okay. Though they admit this might have influenced the tribe nation. Sense and race was a 15th century form of radix in Middle English via Old French raïs or raïs. Klein suggests that the word derives from Arabic rayas, head, beginning, origin. Yeah, which makes sense. That could make sense, right? That it goes back to rayas, which means origin. Because Arabic, we go with the oldest, right? Arabic is older than French. Okay, so Arabic is closer to Hebrew, right? So it's saying it goes back to origin. All right. So now the origin. Okay. So anyway, so now the origin, we don't have to go too deep into that. It says it comes from the Arabic rayas, which means origin. Okay. And it says now the origin of the Israelites comes from Jacob, and the origin of the Edomites comes from Esau. Now that's why it says what? And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. So there's 2 different nations, 2 different races, 2 different origins. And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. and the elder shall serve the younger. Point blank, period. So the two nations of people, right? The Lord separated it. So separated their spirits. So their spirits were different. That's why it says two manner of people, right? So the manner, your manners come from your spirit, right? Let's go into the word manner. Now this word is la'am, which says here, it says people, nation. Oh yeah, that word is la'am. No, this is not the right word for manner. Hold on. Should be two words. Two people. Okay, so maybe the word manner is not there. Maybe not the word manner is not there because this means people. Okay, so saying two races of people, two nations of people. Okay, but Esau, not Esau, but this was put there, manner of people, because they understood that they were two different type of people, two different races of people, two different spirits. So they would have different manners, different mannerisms, right? Different characteristics. And it actually describes the two different characteristics when you continue to read down. It says, and Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger, right? So the elder being Esau is going to serve Jacob ultimately, okay? It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were two twins in her womb, right? They were twins, but they were different spirits. And the first came out red, that was the Edomites, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? And you Edomites, you so-called white people, you are red. Let's Glenn Beck, let's type in Glenn Beck. He doesn't have he's not diagnosed with a skin condition. This is just how a lot of you Edomites look, right? Edomites have a red look, but he's one of the redder Edomites. But this is how Esau looks. Look at his face. Look how red it is. His hair is white, and then his skin is clearly red, very red. Okay. In other words, if he wore a red suit, it would match his face, right? So these are the Edomites. This is how the baby came out. Okay, he came out with this type of skin color. All right, that's why I said he was red all over like a hairy garment. It didn't mean that he was hairy. He wasn't hairy. He was red like the garments that they used to, the hairy heifer garments that they used to dye red. Right, because the red heifer has a ruddy. It really has a ruddy color to it, which is a brownish red. But what they used to do in the ancient world, they used to dye it even more red to make it look like your boy Glenn Beck there. Okay, so that's how the first baby came out, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, which means wasted away. Why were they saying wasted away? Why was he wasted away? What about him that was wasted away? His pigmentation, man. His pigmentation. All right? His melanin was missing. Okay? It said, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Now, Jacob holding Esau's heel, that was symbolic. Okay? Because Jacob was going to take down Esau in the end. Okay? And the reason I didn't mention Jacob, because Jacob was brown. He was a brown-skinned baby, just like everyone else. They all had brown skin, man. Right? From a dark, swarthy brown to a lighter, tarny brown, but that's how it was, man. Okay? It says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And you look up this word plain, it goes into perfect. Okay? But see, this right here is showing you the different manners of people. You know how they were had totally different personalities. Esau was he liked to go out and hunt. He liked to be out in the field, just like these Edomites today. They love to hunt. Okay, they love to hunt. They love to be out there in the wilderness and all this. They're climbing mountains, right? That's the Esau spirit. Jacob is he just wants to chill, party, chill. So we have two different spirits. Okay. So let's go to what I want to go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, because dealing with the spirits being separated, he told the same thing to the serpent, right? Now, there's no account of the serpent having descendants. Okay, there's no account of the serpent, or the serpent had 5 children. There's no account of that. Okay, because we know that the serpent is of the wicked. It says Genesis 3 and verse 14. It says, and Yahweh power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life, which deals with confusion. Okay, so when it speaks about eating the dust, is dealing with confusion, him being on his belly, being in a lower state. Esau, Edom, the serpent. Let's start with the serpent, right? The serpent, was a man, right? And he was cursed above all beasts of the field. You see? So when is this really going to play out? This is going to play out in the kingdom. This is really going to play out ultimately, fully in the kingdom. We always say a roach is going to have more rights than an Edomite in the kingdom of heaven, because we're going to treat the creation right. We're going to treat the creation with love and care and all that. But the Edomites, they're going to be going through perpetual punishment and hated, And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Hold on. First of all, the women don't have seed. It's speaking about the seed of the righteous. Okay, going through Adam, the seed of the righteous and the seed of the wicked. Okay, it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Okay, so that's going back to what I mentioned with the heel, the hand on Esau's heel, right? That means Jacob is going to take him down. But the bruise in the head part and the bruise in the heel part, the bruise in the heel, Esau bruised our heel. By what? By taking us down, by putting us in captivity, keeping us in the lowest state. He bruised our heel, but we're going to be able to recover from that. When we bruise his head through Yahweh Shai, he's not getting back up. Okay, that's it. And when you look up that word bruise, it means to crush. Let's look that up right now. Okay, it says shawap. Shawap means to bruise, crush, gape upon, right? To fall upon, bruise, right? So crush was one of the definitions in break. So we're gonna, you're gonna break our ankle, our heel, but then we're gonna break your head ultimately. Meaning we're ultimately gonna take you down for good. That's why the Lord said, if grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some gleaming grapes? But I have made Esau bare. So Esau is finished, man. Esau's at the end, right? And the reason I'm tying Esau to the serpent, because we're going to go into it, it's the same spirits, right? It's the spirit of the righteous versus the spirit of the wicked. The same thing is going on right now. All right, shalom to you, Akim, on the comment board. It says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, like I said, Esau never had. There's no account of the serpent rather having descendants and them fighting against Seth no. Who was fighting against Seth? Who was fighting against Abel and the righteous? The Cain and the Cainites. Cain and the Cainites, right? So that's showing you what? That's showing you that those were two different spirits. Those were nations of two different spirits, right? Although they came from the same people, the Cainites and the descendants of Seth, which was the righteous, were two different spirits. Let's go here. Let's go to Genesis 4. Let's go to Genesis 4. This is Genesis 4 and 1. Right? It's the same scenario of Isaac and Rebekah. Okay, they had two children, but they had two different types of spirits of two different nations. The Heavenly Father can do this. He did this. If he didn't do this, then we would all be of the same nation. There would be no nation of Israel. There'd be no nation of Elam. There'd be no nation of Ishmael, Cush, none of that. Right? But because he throughout the even amongst the Hamites and the Japhites, there was separation. There was really the nation of Ham. There's no nation of Ham. Okay, there's nation of Mizraim. There's nation of the Philistines. There's a nation of the, you know what I'm saying? Those are nations. Okay, because he broke up the nation, he separated the nations, and the Cushites have a different spirit from the Mizraim. How you say it in the Hebrew is Matazarium. Okay, they have a different spirit in them. Okay, Kawash, they have a different spirit than Matazarium. Okay, just like the Ishmaelites have a different spirit from us, and the Edomites definitely have a different spirit from us, and a different spirit from the Ishmaelites, because the Lord made a separation. It's the spirit within them, right, that the Lord separated at those particular times. Okay, it says, and Adam knew Eve his wife, meaning he had sex with his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from Yahweh. Okay. And Cain, there's the spirit why he was named Cain. Cain means is a weapon, means weapon. Okay. And notice he was the firstborn. Notice he was the firstborn. Right? Does that remind you of something? Jacob and Esau, maybe? And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep. And in Abel, his name is spiritual, which means breath or transitory, meaning he was there for a little bit and he was gone. Okay? And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Okay? See, so they were doing two different things. Okay? Two different spirits. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto Yahweh, which that was against the law, even back then, because the law was oral at that time. He knew what was a good sacrifice and what wasn't, but he was rebellious. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And Yahweh had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And Cain, he was a tiller of the ground, so he was around those herbs. Now that I'm thinking about it, he was around the herbs, and he had an abundance of that because that's what he was doing. Right? Jacob had, more access to the sheep because that's what he was doing. But he had sheep. Cain also had sheep and access to cattle. But that would have been a loss he didn't want to take. Right? Just extrapolating in the spirit, right? Because it's a loss that sheep is expensive. Herbs of the field, that's cheap. Right? Said, and Yahweh said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. And Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So he lied. Okay, he lied, and he murdered Abel, and he lied. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Right? And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. See, so now he's cursed. Now he was cursed just like how the serpent was cursed, because this is the same type of spirit. It's this really, Cain and the serpent were of the same nation spiritually. Don't expect Vogel. I get it. No, Vocab doesn't get it because he's an Edomite. Can't understand this truth. Even Israelites that are not of the elect, they can't really understand this. Okay, this has to be opened up to you, man. But the fact of the matter is, spiritually, Cain was of the same nation as the serpent. That's why it said there shall be enmity between thy seed and her seed. Where's the account of the seed of the serpent rising up and fighting against the seed of the righteous? No, it was the Cainites that was causing all this wickedness in the earth. When you read down, it goes into Lamech, and he's bragging about murdering people. This is why the flood came in, man, because these wicked men done multiplied in the earth. Okay. Matter of fact, let me read it. This is Genesis 4:23. It says, and Lamech said unto his wives, Adah and Zillah. Now Lamech is of the line of the Cainites, the wicked ones. Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man in my wounding, to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. So I mean, he was out there murdering people, man. Okay, and they were the first weapon makers. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. Okay, so he said, listen, if Cain could do what he wants, and the amount of wickedness I do, I should be able to do what I want even more. So whatever, this is the spirit of the Edomites. This is the spirit of the wicked. Okay, the Lord made a separation between the nations. Okay, all right. Do something, yeah. Do something here. Okay, back up, copy. Let's come here. Work smarter, not harder. Come here. Paste. KJV. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Divided is the word. This is Deuteronomy 32:8. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam. So there was a separation from the sons of Adam. Yes, they all came from Adam, but the Lord separated them based upon their spirits. You understand? That's why I said the spirits determine the nation of an individual. Okay, that's how we know, this person has to be an Israelite. This person is probably a tear. This person is probably an Edomite because of their spirit. Certain mannerisms they have, their way of being. Okay, the Israelites have a particular way of being. The Edomites have a particular way of being. The Moabites have a particular way of being. Right? We know the Moabites are so-called, and the Ammonites, but, the Moabites even, they take the cake. But both Moab and Ammon, they have a spirit, and they have different spirits, by the way. But they have a spirit of eating abominations. Even more so Moab. They have a spirit of eating abominations. The so-called Chinese. Okay, that's in their spirit. They like that. They, no matter where they go, even if they were raised by Edomites or Jakes, they would still not mind eating that madness because that's just in their spirit. Okay. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Okay, so meaning what? We were the first in mind, and then the nations were thought about after. You understand? We were, first of all, the earth was created for us. And then the nations were created for us, man. You see? So, there's no, the Lord loves everyone equally. That's BS. The Lord loves the Israelites more than any other. He loves Israel. That's who the Lord loves, Israel. He set his love upon Israel. He set his love upon these other nations. And he's going to show you that in the time to come, man. But there was a separation made based upon these spirits. Although the Father determines the nationality of a child in this time, right? There was times in history, right, when the Lord was creating the nations and he separated the nations, divided the nations up, that he, even though an individual came from the same forefather, he created different nations from them. Okay, an example is Jacob and Esau. An example is Cain and Abel. An example is Noah and his 3 sons. They all come from Noah, but they're not all, they don't call themselves the Noahites. No, they're all different nations. They all produce different nations, simple and plain. Okay, so it's very, very simple, if you're of the righteous to understand it. With that, Lord, this is edifying to the elect. Say shalom, shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shem El Shai B'Shem Kakadash Brakathum. Shalom.